So my title is All Things to All Men. And this is actually pretty ironic because a couple of days before Mickey and they were talking, we were just breaking bread, eating. I was like, man, it's hard for like me to be able to like love this a European culture, this, that, and we were giving reasons. And you were like, yeah, bro, I feel you. You know, it's like, yeah, bro, it's hard. We don't really have to try because we're different, you know? And then Thursday, I say Ava gives me the church, all things to all men. So I go to Ava, I'm like, bro, you gotta explain this one to me, bro, because I do not know. And he told me the key is love. And that got me to thinking. And that led me to Galatians 5, verse 13 to 14.
Okay.
So it says there, you, my brother and sisters, were called to be free. But do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command. Love your neighbor as yourself. So basically, when you get freedom, that freedom you have to use as a disciple, as a Christian, to love others. And then the question comes, how do you get that freedom then? And then it's simple. You get it from God. You get it from the love of God. Love of God gives you freedom. And it's the same concept as in, remember when you were like 9, 10, 11 years old and you just came out of school, your day was kind of bad and you see your mom and you run to your mom and you go and you hug her and just like, it's so tight, like you can't move anywhere. And in that moment, like you're physically restricted, right? You can't do much. But in that moment, where else would you really want to be? Like you're just filled with love in that moment. And it's like, wow, like all the insecurities are gone. The bad day is gone. You just feel the love. And like, wow, I love my mom. I love my dad. The same, like, it's campus night tonight, right? So there's a lot of people that moved out their parents now. They're like, yeah, I have my freedom now. I can do what I want. I can go to bed when I want. I can play games as long as I want. I can party. All my friends are going to be over. And then me and Roger was talking. He was like, you know, he told me, you really know you grew up when you start buying laundry detergent. I was like, amen, bro. That's very true. Very true. So that got me thinking, we fight to get out of our parents' house thinking we will get freedom. But when we leave, we realize you don't get more freedom, you get more responsibilities. You lose the freedom of having to think about the bills. You lose the freedom of having to think about what you're gonna cook, how you're gonna buy food. So really, the question is, what is freedom? Wow. And freedom really is being freed by sin, but it makes you a slave to righteousness. And being a slave to righteousness is what makes you able to love others. Because righteousness is right in the eyes of God. And the amazing thing about God's love is you can know it in here in your mind, but you really have to know it in here in your heart. And that's something people don't know, because a lot of people in this world, they don't even truly know what it means to have God's love in your heart. And it's not something you can explain with science. It's not something you can show with mathematics. You can't multiply it. But when you know it, you see it. You just like when you see God's love in somebody, you just know it. Okay, this love is different. So now before I go to the last scripture, I just want to say, as disciples, we do not come here to show out. We do not come here to impress others. Because to tell you the truth, when we leave, we're gone. But just remember, when Jesus comes, whether it's tomorrow, in 10 years, 20 years, or whenever it may be, we should be able to say, nobody can say we did not love them. Wow. Nobody could say these brothers did not love me. Nobody could say these sisters did not love me. So to wrap it up in 1 Corinthians 9, verse 19 to 22, it says Paul's use of his freedom. And the reason I wanted to preach first about love, to get you guys to really understand what it means to have love and what it means to have freedom, the title is Paul's use of his freedom. He has the freedom to love others. He has the freedom to do because God loved him. He accepted that love, and now he has to go and give that love to others. And this is how you can become all things to all men. Because the key, as Haven said, is love. And that through that love, you get freedom.
Come on, this is deep.
The scripture says, though I am free and belong to no one, I have made myself a slave to everyone, to win as many as possible. To the Jews, I became like a Jew, to win the Jews. To those under the law, I became like those under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so as to win those under the law. To those not having the law, I became like one not having the law, though I am not free from God's law, but under Christ's law. So as to win those not having the law, to the weak, I became the weak to win the weak. And this reminded me of when Tomia said, yeah, he and a bunch of brothers, they went to the red light district to preach the word. And I was like, why would you do that? That sounds like a struggle fest. All right, bro, you just putting yourself in harm's way to just like struggle the entire day. And up until this point, now I understood it. Because it wasn't about how spiritual they were or like how strong they were. It was about the love they had for the people. And it just as it says, the doctor goes to where the people need him the most. And in the red light district, that's where people need Jesus the most. Because that's just sin on sin on sin.
Yeah, come on, bro.
And it continues on to say, I've become all things to all people so that by all possible means I might save some. So you can preach the word to 7 billion people, but only some will be saved. And that's a fact we have to accept as disciples because it's a personal choice. Everybody has their freedom. And what helped me really contextualize the scripture was that, let's say it's 2008, you're in America, you're in Boston, right? And you're living in a world where everybody, just imagine everybody is in debt. And a debt you can never pay back at all, no matter what you do. 2008 Boston, you know, the kind of trip everybody has. Like, you just are just going through your day. And this guy comes up to you and like, yo, I paid all your debt. I paid all your wages. Like, bro, I don't believe you. Why would you pay all my wages? Like, I don't even know you, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And he says, check your bank balance. And you go and you check balance, and it's like, what? Bro, I'm not in debt anymore. And he's like, yes. And he told you, yeah, because I love you. And I go, and you go, I'm like, oh man, I'm not in debt. I gotta go tell my mom. I gotta go tell my dad. I gotta go tell my friends. I'm like, yo, guys, I'm not in debt anymore. Yeah. And they're like, what happened to this weirdo? What do you mean we're not in debt? Everybody's in debt. Like, why would somebody just pay for all your just debt to be gone? That makes no sense. Get out of here. Then you go like through the street like, yo, guys, I don't have any debt anymore. I don't have any debt anymore. And eventually you preach to 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 1 million people. And eventually the sum is 100. Out of 1 million, you have 100. But you say, not only does America need to be saved, not only Boston has to be saved, but Europe as well. And then you go, you take 13 people, and you go to Amsterdam, and then you show up to 2008, 2009 Boston style. You start telling people, yo, guys, I don't have any debt. And they're looking at you like, what are these weird Americans talking about no debt? We're like, everybody has debt. We're like, what a weirdo. Get this guy away from me. And then you're like, and instead of saying like, oh man, okay, forget these people then. They don't need it. Since the person paid all your debt, you have so much love. And you have this freedom now that you don't have this debt. You go and be like, no, I gotta get to know them better. I gotta get to know the culture better. I have to become all things to all these people. It's not enough that I only came physically to Europe, but now I have to get there emotionally as well. I have to get there culturally as well. I have to understand why they are the way they are and meet them where they are. And this is what it means to be all things to all men. And when you do that, then you're like, oh, you start preaching again. I'm free of debt, free of debt, free of debt. Guys, I'm free of debt. And you get 100 people. You send them to Paris. You send them to London. And that's exactly what is happening right now with our church. We're preaching that, guys, you don't have to pay for your wages anymore. You don't have to pay with your life anymore. Jesus did that already. He loved us so much that he gave us this freedom to tell you guys about his love. So how dare we not preach that every day? How dare you not share your faith 5 times a day at least with somebody? Does that person not deserve that? Did Cassidy not deserve that? Did Brinelsia not deserve that? Did Frank not deserve that? So how dare we?
Come on, bro.
I would like to leave you guys with a moral sentiment from Stevenson and Roosevelt. It says, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, and to God be all the glory.